how do we enter flow? How can we access that state? And the short answer is basically anything that taps you in, anything that brings you into that space of aliveness. Very often I have found it's like out of the mind and into the body. And so anything that activates your body and more of your fullness. This could be meditation where you breathe into and feel your whole body, as well as begin to feel the field around you, the quantum field, the field of possibilities, the bigger expanded awareness. It could be surfing. It could be working out. It could be shaking. It could be dancing.
Welcome to the Seeing in the Dark podcast, the podcast for the women of the ancient futures. Women that see beyond eyes and know beyond mind and are here to make a change from a deep communion with the mystery of life. Seeing in the Dark is about walking paths that have not been walked before and daring to show up for the mission and dream life that is knocking on your door. My name is Nicole Nima Costeres, mystic, medium, initiated priestess, and here to take you into the mysteries of purpose, power, ritual, and intuition. May you embody your own unique essence so deeply that your vibration naturally teaches, inspires, and assists others. Let's dive in. In today's episode, I will share with you one of the over 20 masterclasses of the She Who Stands for a New World Global Online Retreat. An online experience with over 20 workshops, masterclasses, and interviews from oracles, wisdom keepers, astrologers, dancers, facilitators, and just a really beautiful variety of people that show up for the world they want to live in. This retreat has been created from the intention to, in these times of change and crisis in the world that can bring up fear and doubt about where we are going as a world, to stand up and show up for your mission, for your business, for the message that you are here to bring for the world. So this global online retreat, She Who Stands for a New World, is there to help you connect to the core of your essence, the heart of your mission, and the soul of your business. So enjoy today's masterclass. If you feel inspired to purchase the whole bundle of over 20 masterclasses, interviews, and workshops, you can purchase the whole bundle for only 47 euros. Link is below this episode. And for now, I wish you an incredible time with today's speaker. Much love. Today, I am here with dear friend Ronja Sebastian. Now, Ronja is the first woman that I saw when I started to long for a location-independent lifestyle. And when I saw her traveling around the world, I was like, how is she doing this? How is she creating these awesome events all over the world, seeing all these amazing places, and just basically go wherever she wants to go in each moment? And so before I bring it over to Ronja, I just want to share that Ronja is an international event leader, experienced designer, and catalyst into limitless living, bridging consciousness and awakening with next level business creation, bending time, creating more while doing less, tapping into quantum reality and effortless manifestation. Attendees consistently describe her events as the most impactful, epic, transformative experiences of their lives, and kind of like taking the limitless pill. She's the founder of the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat, featuring Desert Dwellers, ATIYYYA, Lizzie Jeff, Purangi, Kaminanda, Liquid Bloom, Trevor Moon Tribe, Karim Raihani, and the Human Experience and Temple Step Project. She's also the creator of the Deep Woman Immersion, Unwind, Unlock, Uplevel, Deep Woman Orgasmic Alchemy, the Limitless Meditation, and the 22 Minutes of Bliss experience. She's currently living in Costa Rica with her partner, Gabriel Rima, who produces conscious hip-hop music under the name of Zen Tempest. Her message is, we are limitless beings, you are love, and everything is possible. Welcome, Ronja. I'm so happy that you are here with us today and to share about this topic of flow state, bending time, and breaking rules in business.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I'm so happy to be here. And as you're sharing about, you came to the first Ecstatic Awakening retreat and then having witnessed you just completely quantum leap in so many ways since then, and just exponential growth that you've had since then. It just blows me away.
Yeah. And there's like this first thing of like you being the first woman that I saw living the location independent lifestyle. But also there was this other moment that really stayed with me where you came to me in the second ecstatic awakening retreat. You said, Nicole, what if you would stop playing small? What would you be doing? And then in that same moment, this download comes for my retreat, Women Who Walk Between the Worlds, that I'm now hosting in Spain, in Hidden Paradise. And it's just like, I feel there is something with you that makes this bending time and space of like amazing downloads available. I would love to hear you share more about what this means for you, flow state and bending time and breaking rules in business.
Well, I love this. So when you asked me about what I would love to share about on this immersion, and you also shared with me this theme of women who stand for a new world, and I'm getting goosebumps again, but I got goosebumps then when you just said, I gotta just reflect to you as well, Nicole, that you with names of things like women who walk between the worlds, see beyond eyes, and some that don't remember the whole thing, and then women who stand for a new world and women of ancient futures. It's just getting goosebumps. It's just a way of just naming things. And so when you shared with me this immersion, it's like, well, what would I love to share? Because there's so many different things that we could dive into. And so this theme of flow state, bending time, and breaking rules in business came to me really strongly when you asked me about this. And so my journey with flow state has been one of the most impactful experiences of my whole life, and it has shifted everything that I have created since then. And we'll share more about what it is, why it's so cool, and how you can get into it and begin to create from this deeper place where time bending becomes a really real thing. But for me, I discovered it almost accidentally, because many years ago when I was going through my own healing journey, I went very deep into breathwork and sacred sexuality practices and shaking and body activations and energy activations and Taoist and tantric practices. And I would notice that the difference between how I operated when I say, for example, just had a day when I was like, okay, it's working day. Let me open my computer and just start doing stuff. That compared to when I started the day, not turning on my phone, not going online, other than maybe to go and find a specific meditation on YouTube or something. But when I started my day with either breath work or with bioenergetic shaking, which for those of you women who are new to shaking, I imagine if you've been with Nicole, she's probably doing it with you as well. But it's basically when you just stand on the ground with your feet flat and you just begin to find this bouncing in your body, and you begin to just allow everything to shake. So your hands, your neck, your booty, just everything is just shaking. And I would do that when I got into it. I would do it for sometimes just a few minutes, but sometimes for like an hour and a half straight. And it was like the only thing that comes close to it, I would say, would be plant medicine or something really deep. I know both you and I, Nicole, have had quite a lot of experience with going into these other dimensions and realms through plant medicine. But what I found was that through breath work and through shaking, it's like we tap into a space that is so much bigger and so far beyond whatever is the recycled material of the thinking mind that just keeps on going, and the 2% of our capacity that we basically have access to when we are just in that thinking, repetitive state of the mind. And so what I started noticing was that whether it's an hour and a half of shaking or just like 5 minutes of breath work, or sometimes just like working out or doing yoga or going to the gym, something that would bring me into a deeper space of aliveness and expanded consciousness is like I just started having downloads and ideas and things started coming through. And so whereas before, for example, if I were to create, say, a website for a retreat, I would sit down with my computer and try to think of what to write. Now, the new way that shifted, that happened when I started tapping into this was, for example, for the Deep Woman Immersion that you, Nicole, have been a part of several times as a facilitator as well, previously called the Ultimate Goddess Retreat, now the Deep Woman Immersion. I did a 1-hour breath session, and during the breath session, doing breath work, I just started hearing the words and I started seeing the entire website. I started just seeing all the words. Copy is basically everything that it's just written word on a website or anywhere, really, book, social media, whatever. And I just started receiving the words. I saw all the graphics. I saw all the layout of the entire thing. And then once I had received this, I just had to go and create it, which actually took a long time, but like receiving the whole thing was really fast. And at the time I was in a space of just very deep inspiration. I was on my way from the unconventional life retreat in Bali on our way to our Airbnb in Canggu. We were having the Dream Beyond Mastermind immersion coming up the following week. And I just started seeing the entire journey. It was an 8-day retreat. So I opened my computer in the taxi on the way to Canggu. And in 20 minutes, I map out session by session by session an entire 8-day retreat. Ecstatic Awakening retreat, moment of download. I was sitting in the jacuzzi under the stars in Hawaii some years back, and I just saw the entire thing. And that was after a night of ecstatic dance. And so basically all this to say is that when I started prioritizing following my aliveness and tapping into that deeper space of tuning in and opening up to a bigger field of receiving the vision rather than trying to think my way to it, things started happening and time started bending where it's like, and we'll explain how every single woman who's here can do this as well, because this is not a person dependent thing. It's literally, we all have access to this in our own way. You will begin to create, you can create more in 5 minutes when you are in flow state than in 5 hours trying to push it when you're not feeling it. And so for anyone who's had that feeling of stuckness or like, oh, it takes so long to create things, or like, I don't know what to write or what should be on my sales page or whatever the thing is, it's like, this is the key right here.
I love it. It also brings me to this memory where I was creating a painting, because I think it's the same. Like, our work is also like a piece of art, right? So it doesn't matter if you're working on our websites or if I'm working on my painting. But I remember like wanting to paint these wings on me. And I was just struggling. You know, I tried to push these wings and I had to erase them again. And then again, drew it in a different way. And actually the next day, when I entered into the space from this connected place, from this flow state, I had the wings on there in 10 minutes and they were beautiful, you know? So can you share a bit more about what is this exactly, this flow state? Because I can feel it through your examples, but can you unpack a bit more for us what it exactly is?
Yes, absolutely. And so I'll bring it first in a way back to the scientific, what is actually flow state? Because there's some people that have actually mapped this, what actually happens in the brain when we enter flow. So first off, flow state, maybe some of you women, you're like, yep, that's my jam. That's what I'm exploring every single day. And some of you might be like, what is this flow state thing? It's like, is it like flowy dance or like, what is it even? Flow state is another word for peak performance or being in the zone. So athletes often talk about being in the zone. Jazz musicians talk about being in the pocket. Stand-up comedians call it being in the forever box. So there's many different, being in the zone, being in flow. It's basically effortlessness, timelessness, peak performance, but in a relaxed way. You're not trying hard to be good or excellent. It's coming through. There's also a deeper receiving of data, you can say. So, your mind is able to process a bigger amount of information effortlessly per second. And so there's a bigger amount of information, inspiration that is coming through. And so this has been seen for a long time as almost something mythical. It's like, how do people enter into the zone of genius and what actually happens? And there has been this thing where people talk about the 100% brain. Like if you've seen the movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson, where she gets access to 100%. And there's this idea that we only use a small percentage of our brain. And if we could access 100%, then we would be like Lucy or like the guy in Limitless. And what they actually found, because they were excited to check this out, so they put brain sensors, and these are, I just want to give credit. So Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheel, founders of the Flow Genome Project, can Google this and geek out. They worked a lot with Google, with NASA, with Navy SEALs, with top athletes. They put brain scanners on athletes, on surfers, on freestyle rappers, on peak performance, high performance business people, business owners, creatives, and watch what happened in the brain when they entered flow. And they thought that they would see more parts of the brain lighting up and becoming activated, like in Lucy. But what they found was that it's not that more parts of the brain become activated. It's actually that parts of the brain shut down, become quiet, become dormant. And specifically, the science geeks among us, specifically the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So it's basically the prefrontal cortex, and on the sides is basically what is the part of the brain that is responsible for the inner critic and impulse control, and the part of the mind that is here to keep us safe in a way, but also the part of your brain that when you have an idea and you're like, I'm going to create an online course, or I'm going to create a coaching program, and you have this pure inspiration, that's the part of your brain that says, it's never going to work. Everyone is going to hate your book. You're probably never going to finish it. What if nobody buys? Better to just never even try. So that's the part of the brain that's like, oh, don't do, danger. So when we enter flow, that part of the brain goes quiet. And when that part of the brain goes quiet, then a deeper intelligence can flow through. And this is when we enter into a space that is deeper than the thinking mind. And this is where we can receive ideas, inspirations, downloads that we've never had before.
I love it. I just feel my whole body getting really, really excited. I feel also what comes up for me, it's like, in very simple words, it's like the flow state helps you then basically to get out of your own way. Because I feel that's what that part of the brain does. It gets like we get in our own way. Like we think ourselves out of things instead of allowing it to flow through effortlessly and naturally.
And so from this place, the logical question can be then, how do we enter flow? What happens when we're in there? How can we access that state? And the short answer is basically anything that taps you in, anything that brings you into that space of aliveness. Very often I have found it's like out of the mind and into the body. And so anything that activates your body and more of your fullness, this could be meditation where you breathe into and feel your whole body as well as begin to feel the field around you, the quantum field, the field of possibilities, the bigger expanded awareness. It could be meditation. It could be surfing. It could be working out. It could be shaking. It could be dancing. Even just putting on your favorite hip hop track or what dirty trap music or whatever you like and just dancing for 3 minutes or shaking for 30 seconds. It could be doing your favorite sports. It could be making love. It could be taking a walk in nature. It could be listening to music. Even just listening to music while you're working. A lot of people are into binaural beats or brain.fm. They're these like brain hacking things you can explore. And what I have found to be the universal access point that is the most potent, that when we have the Ecstatic Awakening Retreat and other events, it's like this is one of the key things that we explore with the entrepreneurs and the business owners that come, because this seems to be the universal kind of flow access one, which is breath work. I haven't found like an answer to why this is. What I can just imagine and assume is kind of like not everyone is a pro surfer, or not everyone is a freestyle rapper or a basketball player or a musician, but everyone breathes. And so because we're always already breathing, then the breath seems to be this universal access point where, and we'll do an experience of this in a moment, which is the one way that I could describe it is kind of like drugs without drugs. And so one reason why I feel that so many people feel drawn to psychedelics and plant medicine and MDMA and whatever it is, or even just like people getting drunk or having a glass of wine or a tequila shot, it's like it brings us from the thinking mind into more of a space of relaxation. And already that bit extra relaxation opens the portal. And so, but the breath work is something that we have access to, and that is super healthy, has no side effects other than just super oxygenating the body, rebooting the immune system, just having us feel really vital. There's no hangover, there's no calm down. It just literally is like drugs without drugs. My love, Gabriel, like you said, Zen Tempest, who's a hip hop artist, he has one line in one of his tracks. I think the name of the track is Ecstasy. And he says, the pharmacist is the breath in me. And I love that so much. Just the pharmacist is the breath in me, because it changes our brain chemistry. It changes the hormonal balance. It just brings everything into this effortless peak state that feels really relaxed at the same time.
Beautiful. I love it. So why do you feel this is such a potent piece when it comes to us women in business? And not only women, it's super potent for men as well. Why do you feel this combination of accessing flow state through breath work is such a potent way?
So it kind of comes back to what I was sharing in the beginning about the shifts that I was noticing. And then as I've guided now thousands and thousands of people, both live and virtually, in these flow state practices, is that a few different things. So it works on the level of inspiration, that you get access to much, much, much bigger amount, deeper flow of inspiration. And the things that come through not only blow other people away, where they're like, "How did you create this?" But you are blown away yourself. You're like,
yes, I totally relate with that.
And so you get blown away by your own creations. It's like source, God, life, the universe, whatever consciousness can flow through you in a deeper way. And so you get access to more inspiration. It also works on the level of action, in the sense that when you are in flow, taking action becomes easy. Because what I found in myself and so many people is that one of the biggest things is that it feels, that holds people back in business, is that it feels difficult or like an effort to take action. But when you are in breathwork, or you're working out, or you're making love, or you're going for a walk on the beach or in the forest, you enter that space of flow and inspiration comes through. It's like you have to write it down, or you have to go live on Facebook, or you have to press record and record a video for YouTube, or you have to, it's like you create, the thing just wants to come through you. And so action becomes effortless. Time bending, again, you create more in 5 minutes in flow than 5 hours, sometimes not in flow. And then also, when you are in a space of just operating from the surface level of you, what you create from that space is going to be mediocre at best. Whereas when you feel access to your full everything that you are, and intelligence flowing through you, the creations that come through you elevate. One other aspect that's linked to this, but we haven't spoken about yet, this is really this. Okay, let me say it like this. So for all you women who are tuning in right now, feel into the space and the quality of the intuition of everything that you can be. So the intuition, or the sense of, maybe you have the sense of everything you can be, or you at your full capacity, your quantum self, or maybe it feels like a future self. So you just imagine or feel into you in your fullness, you and your full effortless power, channeling, transmitting, creating, being of service, having access to intuition. I mean, Nicole is one of the most intuitive humans that I know on the whole planet. So maybe there's more of that available to you as well. So there's this sense, this intuition of everything that you can be. And then there's your currently lived reality, and how much of that you are actually living. And another way of describing this could be that there is the you that is nervous and insecure and doesn't know if the thing is going to work, or if anybody's going to like it, or the you that is concerned with the future, or what's going to happen, or if people are going to buy your program or whatever. And then there's the you that just knows. There's the you that is just tapped into everything. That is the you that is just pure wisdom. And so depending on which one we live from, that is going to define and create our entire reality and everything that we create in business, as this is also a business immersion. And so this is the question, is like, are you operating from the 20% or the 2% of the surface level of you? That is usually what you feel when you feel like nervous and insecure and not sure if the thing is going to work. Or are you operating from and prioritizing accessing your full depth, and then allowing creation to come from that space? I could say more, but I feel like it's pretty clear in terms of like, why is this powerful, and how can we utilize this as women, powerful women in business?
Yeah, feels super powerful. And I relate so much with it, especially this piece of being blown away by your own creations, or not even own. It's like it comes from somewhere. It feels very non-personal also to me. When I go into flow state, or when I stepped out of my own way, it's almost like a non-personal energy can move through me. that is coming from somewhere, wherever it comes from. So as I'm sensing with you, there's one more thing, I would love to hear you speak on. It's for the women who feel like they are really, really stuck. So, for example, now we find ways that, okay, when you're stuck, you can like go in connection with the breath and connect to that future self or higher self or most aligned self. What would you say to the women who maybe feel really, really stuck?
A few different things and a few different possibilities. And so first of all, I want to acknowledge that every woman's situation and life experience is unique. And so if I was one-on-one with somebody, I could give a very specific and unique answer to this, or transmission, or holding space for this. What comes through right now as you're asking this question is well, a few different things. So one is how we meet the experience. And so it's not usually so much about what we are feeling or how we're feeling, but how we're feeling about how we're feeling. It's the compounded emotion on top of what is already going on. And so, for example, so you might describe it as I'm feeling stuck. I would say it's quite frequently a judgment upon a very raw emotion. And so it might be that you're feeling tender. And then by feeling tender, you don't feel like going live on Facebook or creating things. And then you label that as feeling stuck. And so the question is then, how are you meeting this? And I find that a really beautiful way of meeting this is with love and with tenderness and with care, and asking yourself, just what do you need right now? Or what can I do for you, my love? Or kind of the way we would want, our intimate partner to meet it, where it's not like he or she is like, you shouldn't be feeling like this, but more like, how can I support you, my love? What do you need right now? And so for myself lately, and when I say lately, it's pretty much like for the last almost like a year and a half, I have been feeling very little output energy and a lot of cocooning and going inwards. And as it first started happening, I had this misunderstanding about what was happening. And I thought, I'm stuck, or there's nothing coming through right now, or I don't feel excited or inspired for my business. And then I was like, well, hold on. There is actually inspiration and excitement coming through. It's just not for what I think is the thing that I, quote unquote, should be doing. And so, for example, the last couple of months, I have been maybe more inward than I've been in my whole entire life. And I haven't felt excited to post on social media. I haven't sent an email. I sent the first email to my list 2 days ago for the first time in 2 months. And so I haven't felt excited in that. And first my mind was like, oh, I'm stuck. And then I was like, hold on. I do feel inspiration, and inspiration is for meditating, breathing, working out, going to boxing classes, going to aerial silk, going to the ocean. And because my mind was like, well, that's not productive, the thought that it misinterpreted it as that I was stuck. But actually it's like, well, there is an excitement. So to bring it back to you, to the women, to all of you who are tuning into where is actually inspiration. So if you're feeling stuck, maybe that stuck is actually a guidance to go deeper inside. A guidance to spend more time in meditations. This could be any of my practices. It could be Nicole has many. She has this tuning into your most free and alive self. Like there are many different practices that you can do. Maybe your excitement is to have a bath, or to have a massage, or to spend more time in nature, spend more time offline. This last year and a half, a lot of us have been guided to go deeper inside. And maybe there's a feeling of, well, if I do that, then I won't make money. And yes, maybe not immediately, but I guarantee you that there is something deeper that's going to come through. And pretty much every single time when you're stuck in a how, like, how do I do the thing, or how do I make money, or it's an indication that you're asking the question from this, asking the question, the 8 or 20% or 2% on the surface that doesn't know what to do. And so every time you're stuck in a how, stuck, quote unquote, and often the stuckness is like, how do I do the thing, or what should I do next? Prioritize going deeper, dropping deeper. What is here now? How can you meet this part of you with a deeper love, deeper than you've ever done before? How can you be really present with that tender part of you that doesn't know what to do? How can you prioritize dropping deeper through meditation, breathwork, dancing, touch, therapy, whatever the thing is, so that the you that then creates is a deeper you. And then everything that comes from that space deepens. And so to just summarize this, it's like meeting whatever is showing up within you with love and with tenderness and with presence, asking, how can I support you, my love? What do you need right now? What would feel nourishing to you, right? And then just tuning into what is the actual excitement and inspiration. So if you feel stuck in your business, there is most likely an actual inspiration, even if the inspiration is to do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, I really just want to do nothing, or Gabriel and I have been watching a lot of movies lately and really enjoying it, not just like as a zoning out, but like choosing the kind of movies where we feel expanded in the receiving of those movies, So Netflix, there's a portal in everything.
I love so much that you bring in this piece. And especially, I think that the stuckness comes from the idea of what we think we should be doing instead of truly allowing the flow that wants to happen. And in that, really realizing that it only means what we make it mean. And that's also what I hear you like pointing towards, that whatever experience we're going through doesn't have inherent meaning and only has the meaning that we give to it. So I really love that you bring in this piece. For the women here, if you want to go deeper with Ronja, she has a really beautiful free gift for you. It's the 22 Minutes of Bliss, a free guided morning practice for inspiration, enhanced productivity, and a natural high. And it comes in 10 different versions, all guided with Ronja's voice and beautiful music. And you have experienced now how relaxing and opening Ronja's voice is. So I highly recommend her work. I went through her retreats. I worked in her retreats. I collaborated with her. And yeah, I just really love what you bring and who you are. So we put the link below this video, ronjasebastian.com, and the direct link to the free gift is below this video. So go and get it if you love this experience today.
I just want to thank you for holding the space for all the women, both in this specific training that you and I co-created now, as well as this entire immersion. I just love the space to hold everything that you bring. And if the women who are here are in any way aligned with you, then we're in the company of some pretty amazing women around the planet. So thank you.
Yeah, much love. Did you receive any inspiration, motivation, or powerful breakthroughs by listening to this episode? Then please share this episode by taking a screenshot and tagging me in your stories at nicole.nima.costeres. I would love to celebrate you, share you in my stories, and it would mean so much to have my work reach more powerful, passionate women like you. Thank you so much, and looking forward to see you next week.